In this video we're going to change a set of brake pads. First thing to do is to jack the back end up and chock the front wheels to ensure it doesn't roll forward. If you have extending axles, it's easier to put them to the widest setting. That gives you a little bit more room to work with. The tools required are a 6mm Allen key, a very small pointed screwdriver, or a bradawl, or a good sharp nail, and a pair of grips or pliers. Regular inspection of the brake pads are necessary due to the pads. They're quite small to start with, so they can wear down quite fast if you live in a hilly area or you tend to use your brakes quite a lot. If you look between the disc and the caliper, that's the pad there. So you've got the metal bit there, and this is the wearing part. The same on this side. And if that asbestos wearing part wears down, that metal rubs against the disc, so it's imperative that they are changed, otherwise you do disc damage as well. Here you can see the pin here goes through the caliper, through the brake pad, over the top of the anti-vibration spring, through the next brake pad, through the wall of the caliper again, to the circlip, which is just on the outside here. With the axle extended, you can see the caliper easier. At the bottom here there's two Allen bolts fixed onto the extending axle bracket. So first of all you unloosen those. Take them right out. And with that, the caliper lifts off. So you can see everything you need to. Next thing is a pin runs through the caliper, right through the middle. On the end of it, there's a little tiny circlip. That circlip has to be removed, but be very, very careful because it's liable to spring off and get lost. So with a screwdriver, a little pointed bit of metal, a nail or something, remove the circlip and put it somewhere safe where you can remember it. With that, the pin pushes through and pulls out. Again, put that down somewhere safe. In the middle there's the anti-vibration spring. That comes off and put that somewhere safe. And with those parts removed, that allows the pads to drop out from the caliper. So that's the caliper without the pads in. Next thing is to get some grips, and there's inside the caliper there's some circular pistons, one on each side, and as the pad wears these pistons push out, so you've got to return them. Just squeeze them back in each side, pair of grips, just push them back in. Once you've done that, you get your new pads. You put the pads in underneath, obviously with the wearing surface towards the anti-vibration spring is that sort of shape. So there's the little low point there which points to the bottom. So that narrow end goes in first and the wide end sits on top of the caliper, like so. Then the pin goes through the caliper, through the hole in the pad, and over the top of the anti-vibration spring, through the next caliper, and through the other side of the caliper. With that, the tiny little circlip clips back on. Just get it virtually in place. Get your screwdriver and just flick it on so it sits in the slot. A little bit tricky, but take your time and be careful. With that, the caliper goes back on the pad. The Allen bolts go back in. Tighten them right up. Nice and tight. Not over tight, but nice and tight. Remember to close your extending axle. Press the brake pedal just to check the brakes, and away you go.